Good afternoon, fans. This is your girl from Mel's Match Chat, and this is your official AEW Full Gear 2023 review. Now, I'm going to let you in on. I was, I legitimately, I fell asleep at the end of Full Gear, and I don't even remember getting into my bed. I don't know what time I got into bed. All I know is I was in my bed. I don't even remember half the shit that happened. That's how tired I was. But we are done with Full Gear, and you know what's next is Survivor Series, um, War Games. So we're going to be obviously covering that. But so we have Will Ospreay now as All Elite. Who cares at this point? Who cares who comes in at this point? I'm not the one that's paying them. I'm not the one that's you know, their boss. He wants to stay in AEW. He wants to do this. I mean, you know, who Tony Khan is going to get whoever he wants or whatever the case may be. But he better start thinking that, they may not be there for the rest of their careers. We all know that Triple H is going to basically Tony Khan keeps doing this shit and he's going to end up keep waking the beast. And how many times is he going to have to keep waking the beast where he's going to learn not to, basically screw around with Triple H? I am telling you, Tony Khan is going to do something catastrophic, and Triple H is going to be there, and he's going to pick the bones of Tony Khan, and he's going to love every fucking minute of it, and there's not a damn thing that anybody's going to do about it. So, and everybody thought, oh, it's going to be Mercedes Moné. She clearly came out and said that she was going to be back in a wrestling ring in 2024. I mean, if that would have been a ruse, then fine. So be it. But do I care who comes in? I just don't want them to keep using former WWE superstars. Let's start moving on with that, honestly. Anyway, I don't want to stay here on too long. I want to give you the run through of the pay-per-view so I can go and enjoy the rest of my Sunday because I got a lot to do this week. We got Thanksgiving coming up. Speaking of Thanksgiving, since that's happening and commencing, I will be doing my regular podcast 316 on right after Dynamite. We're going to go right after Dynamite, and then right after SmackDown will be preview predictions, and then right after War Games I will be going live with the review, and then you won't see me until the following Friday. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my time with my son. I want, my son's coming home for the holiday, and I want to spend it with him. He'll be home about a week. Yes, he's taken some extra time off, and I think he deserves it. He's 18 years old. He's still an adult. He can take some extra time. He doesn't go out on vacation. I don't take him away with me due to the fact that he can't be on a plane because he won't sit still. So, this is going to be his go-to. Why is my timer keep going every 15 seconds? This is weird. Like every 15 seconds, it's not 15 seconds, every well, it's still going on here. I just gotta keep situation on here, but that's weird. Every like 5 seconds, it's the timer on here because I have a timer that how long I go and everything. So I'm hoping that I don't have to go no more than an hour and 15, 20 minutes, and then I can get you out of here. Anyway, um, please do me a favor and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, Threads. I'm also on Cameo. I'm also on X. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, the whole gambit of things. I'm on Cameo. Cameo. You have an announcement to make. If you have you want to wish somebody a happy birthday, it's $5. It's come check me out, Mel's Match Hat and everything. I'm going to start, putting the links in X and everything like that, so everybody knows what's going on. Please do me a favor and like, share, subscribe, and turn on the bell for all notifications, so when I go live or upload a video, you all know about it. Please do me a favor also. Please go check out the people over at Maestro Classics at maestroclassics.com. Visit their website for all your beard essentials. Beard meaning facial hair. Please also go check out the people over at Liquid Death at liquiddeath.com. Sample their artillery so you can murder your thirsts, which are spring water, unflavored sparkling water, flavored sparkling water, and icy. And if you're over 21 in the United States, or if you're drinking age, please do me a favor. You can use them as adult mixers for adult beverages, and it'll complement the drink. Also, please, if you're a big coffee aficionado, please go check out Deathwish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com and go get all your coffee essentials there, including 2 new flavors, coconut caramel and hazelnut chocolate. I haven't tried those both, but I got to. Also, please, if you are in and supporting independent wrestling companies, HOG Wrestling House of Glory is coming out with their next event, which is December 1st, and it's called Darkest Hour. The matches are as followed, and Matt Cardona versus Mike Santana for the Hog Heavyweight title. We're going to go local, will be in action. Loco Nolo Katana versus Kevin Blackwood for the Cruiserweight Championship. The Grizzly Young Veterans versus the main event for the tag titles. Prince Nana will be there with Swerve Strickland versus Mike Bailey. Charles Mason versus Carlos Ramirez for the Crown Jewel Championship. Cash Flow versus Encore. Violet versus Kiki for the House of Glory Women's Championship, and so much more. If you want to catch this, please go check out the Premier app at $9.99 a month. And also, if you want to go get tickets and you have nothing to do on December 1st, you can get the tickets and everything, all the information at hogwrestling.net. So that is that. Now let's get into the event itself. Let me get my notes out. Oh my God, I didn't sleep for like 2 days. I was exhausted, and then this compounded the entire freaking problem, which I desperately needed sleep. I woke up at 8 o'clock, got coffee, and then I went right back to sleep. The coffee didn't do two jack shits to me. That's how exhausted I was. The pay-per-view was coming from the Key Alive Forum in Los Angeles, California. And we started off with 0 Hour, which I did watch. And we started off with the Ring of Honor World Championship match, Eddie Kingston versus Jay Lethal. Kingston clotheslined Lethal over the top rope, sending Lethal crashing onto the arena floor. Back in the ring, they traded stiff chops. Lethal pulled Kingston out of the ring and sent the champ head first into the ring post. Lethal took Kingston down with a snap suplex. Lethal followed up with a beautiful over-the-head belly-to-belly suplex. Lethal executed the Lethal combination. Kingston countered the Lethal injection with a suplex. Karen Jarrett distracted the ref while Lethal crawled towards Jarrett's guitar. Ortiz appeared out of nowhere and grabbed the guitar and smashed it over Dud's head. Kingston countered the Lethal injection again and pinned Lethal after spinning back fist. Very simple, very not complex, very to the point. We moved on to the Blackpool Combat Club. Claudio Castagnoli versus Black House of Black's Buddy Matthews. They were chanting for mommy. She is over officially in two fucking companies. I love to see it, and I love to feel. I love to see it. I love to be about it. It's a great situation. Buddy Matthews went right after Claudio right out of the gate. Claudio blasted Buddy with a European uppercut outside the ring. Buddy rocked Claudio with a rising knee, and Claudio answered with a lariat. Buddy tried for a meteora, but Claudio caught him and countered with a big swing. Buddy employed the hammer and anvil elbow strikes. Claudio deadlift Buddy into a cutter. Claudio accelerated into an uppercut. Claudio planted Buddy with a Ricola bomb and then placed Buddy in the sharpshooter, forcing Buddy to tap out. So Claudio picked up the win. ROH World Tag Team Champions match. MJF with Samoa Joe versus the Guns Austin and Colton from the Bullet Club Gold. MJF stomped Colton in the corner. MJF hit the Guns with a double clothesline. Samoa Joe tagged himself in. Samoa Joe wiped out the Guns with a tope suicida. Joe connected with a senton on Colton. Joe jabbed away at Colton. Colton swiped MJF with a clothesline as the ref was distracted. Austin Gunn grabbed a tag and kicked MJF in the back. The Guns employed a quick tags and worked over MJF with tandem offense. Samoa Joe tagged in and cleared house on the Guns. Samoa Joe power slammed Austin for a near fall. Samoa Joe was setting up Austin for a muscle buster, but MJF tagged in. MJF went for a muscle buster of his own on Austin, but Colton drop kicked MJF. The champ fired back with a double DDTs on the Guns. MJF was looking for a kangaroo kick, but Samoa Joe tagged in himself in. The Guns escaped muscle busters from MJF and Samoa Joe. That was a pretty cool spot. And I just completely lost my... The champ fired back with a double DDTs on... MJF was looking for a kangaroo kick, but Samoa Joe tagged himself in. The Guns escaped the muscle buster from MJF. The Guns nailed Samoa Joe with a 310 to Yuma. MJF broke up the pin attempt. Adam Cole came out and walked down the ramp as the Guns were distracted. Samoa Joe finished off Colton with a submission, which is the Karafuda clutch, or not the Karafuda, the Coquina clutch. MJF and Adam Cole hugged outside the ring, so they retained the titles. So that means that Samoa Joe gets a title shot against MJF. After the match, Samoa Joe got MJF's face. Samoa Joe and MJF shook hands, with MJF being the man of his word. Samoa Joe was now in line at a shot at the world title. As he helped MJF to defend the ROH tag team titles, Samoa Joe left and the Guns blindsided MJF in front of Adam Cole. Colton held down MJF while Austin cracked MJF in the leg with a steel chair. Adam Cole was forced to watch helplessly on crutches. Ref Paul Turner called for Doc Sampson to check on MJF, who was writhing in pain. MJF was stretchered out of the ring by AEW medical team. MJF was loaded into an ambulance and yelled at Adam to promise you won't let them take my championship. How can Adam live up to his promise? A man with one leg, wondered Nigel. The main portion of Full Gear is going to commence. So we started with a trios match. We started with we had the Rated R superstar Adam Copeland, Darby Allin, and Sting with Nature Boy Ric Flair on the outside versus the TNT champion Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne cracked Darby Allin with a cheap shot. Darby grappled Nick Wayne to the mat. Darby followed up with two deep arm drags. Sting tagged in and threw Nick Wayne through the ropes and onto the floor. Sting whipped Nick Wayne into the steel barricade. Copeland tagged in and Christian Cage immediately tagged out to Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus charged at Cope with a clothesline. Cope escaped a chokeslam attempt. Darby tagged in but ate a right hand from Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus choked slammed Darby over the top rope and onto the ring apron. Christian Cage stomped on Darby and then tagged out to Nick Wayne. Nick punted Darby in the shoulder. Luchasaurus entered the ring and slammed Darby, and then Nick Wayne followed it up with a senton for a near fall. Darby nailed Nick with a code red from the top turnbuckle. Christian Cage crawled under the ring, popped up on the other side, pulled Copeland down, and rammed him into the ring post. Christian taunted Darby, telling him to make the tag. Christian poured on the punishment. Adam Copeland entered the match and unleashed hell on Luchasaurus. Copeland rocked Luchasaurus with an impaler. Copeland threw Wayne over the top rope at Luchasaurus. Darby rocked out of the ring at a tope at Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus. Sting and Copeland hammered Luchasaurus. They hit Luchasaurus with a tandem scorpion death drop. Luchasaurus battered Copeland with a lariat to the back of the neck. Christian Cage taunted Ric Flair, and Flair chopped Christian. Christian connected with a low blow. Christian Cage tried to hit Copeland with a championship belt, but Copeland ducked and Cage inadvertently hit Luchasaurus. Christian Cage abandoned his team. Sting splashed Luchasaurus, and Copeland hit the spear. Darby nailed Luchasaurus with a coffin drop, and then Copeland pinned Luchasaurus. So they picked up the victory. Okay. I'm hoping that this thing with Christian Cage and Copeland are going to be done soon because, I'm not here for it. Tony Schiavone was on the ramp with ref Bryce Remsburg and called out the representatives of the Bullet Club Gold. The Guns instead, Switchblade Jay White came and tell them, old man, said Jay White. Tony Schiavone, I hate to say this, but unfortunately MJF is injured and will not be able to defend the title tonight. The match between MJF and Jay White have been canceled, and now by default, your new AEW World Champion is Jay White, but then Adam Cole came out. Adam Cole, Jay, there is not a shot in hell you're leaving the Kia Forum with Max's championship. I made a promise to my friend, and I had to talk with Tony Khan. And if MJF can't defend the title tonight, I will do it for him, one leg or not. Tonight, main event will be Jay White versus Adam Cole, baby. Jay White, let me refresh your damaged memory. I took you out once before. If you want to stick your nose where it doesn't belong, I'll take you out once and for all. So that's how this whole thing got switched around. But wait, there's more. You will find out as the night progresses on how this whole convoluted. It was convoluted. It was so convoluted. Whoever scripted this or whoever thought of this did not do a great job. And I really feel bad for the competitors who were involved in this, that it didn't even make sense. And even fucking Dr. Britt Baker herself didn't think that this was a fucking great idea. So whoever thought of this fucking storyline and the way it came out was ridiculous. AEW International Championship match. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley. This could have been on a fucking Dynamite. This made no sense to be on Full Gear. This could have actually main evented Wednesday. This shouldn't have been on. This whole fucking pay-per-view was a Dynamite on steroids. There may have been about maybe 3 or 4 of them that really needed to be on a pay-per-view, but this could have been on a Dynamite. This could have been on a fucking built collision around this. But I don't know anything. Moxley and Cassidy on onto said wait sorry Moxley sent Cassidy onto the announcer's table. Max hoisted up Cassidy and dropped him across the barricade. Moxley chopped at Orange and taunted him. Moxley drove Orange to the mat with a boss man slam. Orange rocked Mox with a diving DDT. Mox was busted wide open as per usual. Orange flew out of the ring with an elbow suicida to Moxley. Orange hit Max with another one. Orange cracked Mox with a third elbow suicida right on the jaw. Orange countered with a Death Rider with a stun millionaire. Max grounded and pounded Orange Cassidy and then transitioned into the Bulldog choke on Orange. Orange jumped on Max's back and applied the red rum. Moxley was able to get to the ropes, forcing the ref to break it. Mox stung Orange with a cutter and then a gotch-style pile driver for a 2 count. Orange drop kicked Moxley, and Moxley collided with it head first into an exposed turnbuckle corner. Orange pulped Max with a 3 orange punches. Looked like a lot of Superman punches. Little stroll down memory lane. I mean, after all, yesterday was the anniversary of the Shield's debut at Survivor Series. A little ode to Mr. Roman Reigns, I see. And nobody thought that I could pick that up, right? Orange punches, then a fourth, and then a fifth orange punch, and a sixth orange punch. Orange followed up with a beach break and pinned John Moxley and retained the title. It was announced that Tony Khan made a match official for tonight's main event: Switchblade Jay White versus Adam Cole for the AEW World Championship. Additionally, Mark Briscoe was announced for the next participant in the Continental Classic, which begins this Wednesday on Dynamite. And what do you know? We have a women's match, which I couldn't give 2 shits about. AEW Women's World Championship. Hikaru Shida versus Timeless Tony Storm. Storm and Shida exchange forearms. Shida stormed Tony with a running knee strike. Mariah May was watching on the monitor backstage. Shida chopped Storm in the chest. Tony backed Shida into the corner with rapid fire shots. Storm pounced on Shida with a running bulldog. Luther handed Tony 2 shoes. The ref saw one of the shoes and pulled it away, but Storm had a second one hidden in her trunks. Storm cracked Shida in the head with the shoe, and while the ref had her back turned, Shida fired back with strong zero. Shida hit the question mark kick, and then a Falcon Arrow for a near fall on Timeless Tony Storm. Storm avoided a meteor aura, and I'm thinking when this was I was hoping that maybe Sasha or whatever Mercedes was going to come out, and maybe this was going to be the way they were going to kickstart a new era in the women's division. And Shida ankle buckled on the landing. Storm applied the ankle lock. Shida reached for the ropes, forcing the ref to break the hold. Storm pulled off one of Shida's boots. Shida grabbed a kendo stick, but Luther tried to pull it away. Shida wrecked Luther with a kendo stick. While Storm walloped Shida with a German suplex, Storm had a metal trace in her trunks. Storm bashed Shida with her hip attack and pinned Shida. And we have a new AEW Women's World Champion, Timeless Tony Storm. Mariah May walked out, handed Tony Storm a bouquet of flowers, and Shida becomes now the quintessential transitional champion. Renee Paquette was backstage with ROH World Champion Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston said he has his eyes on the Continental Classic. He said he wanted to up his game a bit. I want to put the new Japan Strong Open Championship and the ROH World Championship on the line in each of my matches in the tournament. Let's make this the biggest and best tournament in pro wrestling. That goes to the G1 Climax. That's the case that you get it for the Tokyo Dome in January. Sorry, sweetheart. AEW World Tag Team Championship ladder match. Fatal 4-way. Big Bill and Absolute Ricky Starks versus FTR versus LFI Jalistico and Roosh. And then versus Kings of the Black Throne, Brody King and Malachi Black. Dax starched Malachi with a right hand. Malachi knocked a ladder into Dax's mouth. Roosh and Cash whacked one another with nasty shots, forearms, and elbows. Cash threw his body through the ropes at Brody. Roosh and Big Bill Jalistico jumped off the top with a tope con hero and took out the pile. Ricky Starks climbed to the top. Malachi blocked him off his perch. Malachi moonsaulted out of the ring onto a pile. Dax duplexed Starks out of the ring and onto the men outside. There were bodies everywhere on the outside. You knew it was going to be physical. Big Bill and Brody King collided with one another in the center of the ring, exchanged wild clubbing shots. Roosh and Dax rammed them with ladders. Dax threw his ladder at Roosh. Jalistico dropped Dax, who had his head between the rungs of the ladder. Jalistico staggered Cash with a corkscrew kick. Jalistico climbed the ladder, but Cash shoved the ladder down. Cash power slammed Roosh, catching Roosh mid-flight. Cash started climbing the ladder, but Malachi pulled Cash down. Black slingshotted a ladder into the face of Wheeler. The fans chanted, "This is awesome. This is awesome." Cash Wheeler spiked Black with a pile driver on a ladder. Brody attempted a tope suicida, but Big Bill pulled up a ladder and Cash crashed it into it. Stark speared Jalistico and then speared Roosh. Stark drilled Dax with a swinging DDT. Stark sent Black overhead with a suplex into the ladder. Brody King cannonballed Dax, who was against the ladder that was propped up against the turnbuckles. Brody began to climb the ladder towards the titles, but Big Bill yanked the ladder from beneath Brody. Jalistico lunged off the ropes with a lung blower to Big Bill. Roosh rammed Big Bill with a ladder, sandwiching Big Bill in the corner. Roosh mocked Big Bill with a bull's horn, kicking a ladder into Bill's face. Starks and Roosh climbed opposite sides of the ladder. Dax grabbed a taller ladder and began to climb towards the titles. Cash grabbed another ladder, but Brody backdropped him. Jalistico planted Brody with a poison rana. Brody decimated Jalistico with a gonzo bomb on the ladder that was propped up between the ring and the guardrail. If you remember from TakeOver New Orleans, they had so it was something similar to that. Cash Wheeler climbed to the top rope and splashed Brody on the ladder, sacrificing his own body. Dax climbed up the ladder towards the titles, but Ricky met him on top. Black pulled Dax down and connected with the end. Starks grabbed the titles and the champions retained. Pretty good ladder match. Not the best, but it was a good ladder match. We have the TNT Championship match, triple threat. Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart versus Sky Blue. As Sky Blue was making her entrance, she removed her baseball cap, stomped on it, and put a crown on. So she's starting to even look more into the House of Black, which is pretty intriguing. I think she's going to join anyway. So, it's just the inevitable. Chris body slammed Julia and then slammed Sky. Sky Blue rolled up Chris from behind for a near fall. Julia jumped on Chris Statlander's back, but Statlander shucked her off. Sky Blue clocked Chris with a knee strike. Statlander double suplexed Sky and Julia on the arena floor, reversing their pin attempts on Statlander. Sky Blue offered her hand to Julia, but Julia accepted it, and they began to bounce Sky Blue's head off the mat repeatedly. Blue mounted Julia and began to pound her with shots. She followed up with a PK to Julia. Chris charged at Sky and Julia with knee strikes. Sky nailed Chris with a neck breaker. Julia rallied back with an elbow to Sky Blue. Julia took Statlander off her feet with a lariat. Sky Blue rocked Hart with a thrust kick. Julia moonsaulted Sky with Sky Blue, but Statlander pulled Julia off. Blue to break up the pin attempt. Statlander power slammed Julia on the arena floor. Sky Blue blasted Chris with a code blue for a near fall. Julia applied the Heartless Lock to Sky Blue, but Chris grabbed Julia and sent her overhead with a German suplex. And then Chris sent Sky Blue flying high with a German suplex. Chris crushed Sky with the Saturday Night Fever and went to pin, but instead Julia knocked Chris away, covered Sky, and won the match. And we have a new champion, which is Julia Hart. Man, she stole that one, and it was perfectly done, said Taz. Now, I believe that this was a late wedding gift from Tony Khan to Julia Hart, and she totally deserved it. And now she hopefully is going to take that momentum that Statlander had, that got from Jade Cargill, and now she's going to elevate the title even more. This is what I was talking about. This is what we need. These are all three brand new stars. We've seen Tony Storm. We have seen the Sheetas. We need this is what AEW needs now. Let's protect this and let's see how this goes, because now I'm invested. Finally, a woman's fucking storyline, and I'm fucking into it. It's about fucking time. All you needed was this. It's so simple. It was fucking hitting Tony Khan in the face. Tony Schiavone was in the ring with a blockbuster contract signing of Will Ospreay. Whoop-de-fucking-do. And if he went to WWE, it still wouldn't have made a big fucking difference. All right? So if you think that, I'm a WWE show and whatnot, I just want it to have a good show. I don't care who the fuck is on it at this point. It's like my Jets. Whoever's on the team that's going to make the team better, I don't give a shit at this point. The only exception is I better not see Tom Brady anywhere fucking near the Jets, because then we're going to have some fucking issues. Okay? Kabish? Let's keep going. So Will Ospreay comes out. Ospreay, it feels great. Listen up. I'm happy to be part of the team, but I'm not going to come in just yet. When I was 22 years old, I was part of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm 30 years old now. So I'm begging you all, let me finish up, and then I'll be on the road to Revolution. And then I'll be all yours. But more important, I am all elite, bruv. Mr. Tony Khan, do us a favor. Line up the best you got, especially for Wembley Stadium, because I'm going to show them all what elite really looks like, bruv. So Tony Khan just basically fucking said, you know what? I got Ospreay. Your move, Paul. Paul is sitting in his office, probably laughing his ass off, because he knows that he could probably go and take MJF with no problem. Let Tony have all his fun. Triple H knows when to basically drop the bomb when he needs to. So let's move on. Texas Death Match: Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. This was a fucking. If you want, somewhere in that building last night, John Moxley was fucking probably having the biggest hard on because of all the blood. And it was nice seeing somebody else bleed other than fucking Moxley, honestly. But it was a really good match. Um, let's hopefully that this is done and we can move on and Adam could get his own get a new opponent. Swerve can go on maybe to challenge Orange Cassidy or maybe challenge um possibly at Eddie Kingston, somebody, somebody get him a title around his weights for a couple of months. Use that as an example to see if he can get a world title reign, and it's not going to be long. It's going to be, but he can then say that he was AEW world champion. Let's get him like a Ring of Honor or get the international title, something. Let's see. Come on. Let's do this. Let's get him a dress rehearsal for the big day, the big time. So we had Paige clean Swerve's clock with buckshot lariat at the beginning of the match. Hangman taped Swerve's wrists together. Hangman had a staple gun and began stapling Swerve's body. Paige plastered Swerve in the side of the head with a steel chair. Hangman out of Paige is completely unhinged, said Excalibur. Paige grabbed a steel chair, wrapped it around in barbed wire. Paige swung at Swerve, but Swerve saved him by kicking Paige between the legs. Prince Nana had scissors and cut Swerve free from the tape. Swerve pulled the staple gun and stapled Paige right between the eyes. Swerve sent Hangman headfirst into the barbed wire wrapped steel chair. I feel like I'm back in Philly. This is wild, said Taz. Swerve pulled a cinder block out from beneath the ring. Hangman and Swerve brawled on the ring apron. Swerve spiked Hangman with a Death Valley driver on the cinder block. That was nasty. That was fucking nasty as hell. So the fans chanted, "This is awesome. This is awesome." Swerve delivered a pile driver on the top of the guardrail. Back in the ring, Paige planted Swerve with a fall-away slam. Paige sent Swerve flying with another fall-away slam. Paige wrapped barbed wire around Swerve's head. Paige trapped Swerve's arm against his body, by wrapping the barbed wire around him. Paige hit another fall-away slam. Paige moonsaulted off the post and landed on Swerve with the barbed wire wrapped steel chair. "This is hard to watch," said Nigel. Swerve intercepted the buckshot lariat attempt. Swerve booted the chair into Paige's head. Paige reversed a tombstone and dropped Swerve onto the barbed wire wrapped steel chair with a tombstone pile driver of his own. "This goes beyond pro wrestling. This is evolutionary," said Nigel. Swerve powerbombed Paige onto the barbed wire wrapped steel chair and followed up with the Swerve stomp. Swerve grabbed a black bag from beneath the ring. Swerve spilled the bag onto Paige's back. It was full of broken glass. Swerve connected with a 450 splash onto Paige, who had glass all over his bag. Swerve followed up with a JML driver. Swerve placed a board covered with barbed wire and bidged it between two chairs in the ring. Paige chomped down on Swerve's forehead. Paige planted Swerve with a fall-away slam off the top and followed up with a Dudai on the barbed wire. Paige wrapped the barbed wire around Swerve's head and face. Paige blasted Swerve with a buckshot barbed wire lariat. Prince Nana pulled Swerve out of the ring to break the ref's count. Brian Cage ambushed Paige from behind and powerbombed him. Brian Cage, pulled out the table and set it up on the arena floor. Paige cracked Cage and with a barbed wire wrapped a rolling elbow. Adam Page almost broke Nana in half with a deadeye through the table. Swerve shattered the cinder block on Hangman Page. Swerve wrapped a chain around Page's throat and then Swerve yanked on the chain after it was dragged across the ring post. Page couldn't answer the 10 count, and Swerve was declared the winner. By the grace of God, this one is over, said Nigel. All right, moving on. Tag team title opportunity versus tag team breakup. The Golden Jets, Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega versus the Young Bucks, Matt, Nick Jackson. Now, if the Golden Jets win, they get the tag team title opportunity from the Bucks. If the Bucks win, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho have to break up. I don't understand why Don Callis was involved in this, but that's neither here or there. Maybe I thought maybe the Bucks were going to side with Don Callis and turn heel, but I have no idea what the heck is going on with that. Honestly. So Chris and Matt chain wrestle. Chris chopped at Matt and then Omega tagged himself in, allowing Matt some time to step away from Jericho and his swarm of chops. Matt mauled Omega with flurry of shots to the back of the head. Omega answered with a Hurricane Rana. Omega launched himself with a Terminator dive and landed on Matt Jackson. Just saying here, how do you tell your kids, which are Nick and Matt Jackson, that you have to face their Uncle Kenny? Very interesting. Chris Jericho slid into Nick Jackson with a baseball dropkick. The Bucks went to work on Jericho's arm, trying to take out the arm. Jericho used the Judas effect. Jericho dropkicked Nick Jackson from the middle rope and then tagged out to Omega. Omega took Matt down with a Snapdragon suplex. Omega wiped out both Bucks with his offense. Omega moonsaulted out of the ring onto Matt Jackson. Omega followed up with a crossbody press to Nick, but Nick countered by rolling through a near fall. Omega smashed Nick with a knee strike. Jericho line-salted onto both Young Bucks. Jericho was looking for the walls, but Matt Jackson kicked Jericho within the injured arm. Nick Jackson connected with a rolling roundhouse to Jericho. Matt was looking for a Rana, but Jericho put the brakes on and sat down with the walls of Jericho. Matt used the heel of his boot to kick Jericho in the arm and escape the hold. Matt Jackson sent the Golden Jets flying with a double Northern Light suplex. Jericho lawn darted Matt Jackson's face into the mat. Matt held Jericho while Nick connected with a senton. Nick Jackson kicked Jericho between the legs. The ref admonished Nick, and while she had her back turned, Matt kicked Omega between the legs. Nick Jackson rocked Jericho with a Judas effect. The Bucks bashed Jericho with a BTE trigger. Somehow Jericho kicked out of Matt's pin attempt. Nick Jackson superkicked Jericho on the injured arm. Omega tagged in and stunned Nick with a V trigger. Omega lifted off Nick with a one-wing angel, but Nick reversed it with a Rana. Matt planted Omega with a one-wing angel, and Nick covered Omega, but the cleaner kicked out. Fans chanted, "This is awesome. This is awesome." Omega drilled Matt Jackson with a German suplex. Nick Jackson starched Omega with a super kick. Jericho ate a super kick from Matt Jackson. Omega clocked Matt with a V trigger and then finished off with the one-wing angel to store the pin. And now the Golden Jets are still together, and the Bucks no longer have the tag team title opportunity. And now Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho could challenge for the AEW World Tag Team titles anytime they choose, said Excalibur. Nick Jackson was furious at the loss and began to tearing apart the announcer's desk. Omega extended the hand to the Bucks, but the Bucks stormed off. Basically, they had a fucking goddamn temper tantrum. I have a very bad case of sciatica and it hurts. I cannot wait to get back on my heating pad. All right. Main event time. AEW World Championship. Originally scheduled as MJF versus the Switchblade, Jay White, but Adam Cole came to the ring on crutches. So Adam Cole was going to be taking the place of MJF. So Jay White was introduced and walked to the ring with the guns by his side. Justin Roberts announced MJF as representative of MJF. This is going to be a massacre, said Taz. Before the bell rang, an ambulance driven by MJF pulled into the back of the arena. I swear this felt like something like Roman Reigns would do. I swear. So MJF came out of the ambulance hobbling to the ring. MJF slapped Switchblade in the face, but Switchblade went right to work on MJF's injured leg. Jay White diverted the attention of the ref while the guns stomped on MJF outside the ring. The ref eventually saw the guns interfering and ejected them from ringside. Now, I'm going to throw this out here. I don't know if anybody has thrown this out here. If the guns attacked MJF after the match, shouldn't have then been, number one, thrown out. Number two, they should have been fined. Number three, they should have been punished in some sort of way. Then said to Jay White, now, if anybody comes and helps you, you are not only you will lose the match, but you will never ever be able to challenge for the AEW World Championship, no matter who has it. So it ensures that Jay White is now being punished for what his guys have done. So anyway, MJF turned the tables. Jay White chomped down on White's forehead. MJF fired up with a kangaroo kick on the Switchblade. Jay White drop kicked MJF in the bad leg. Jay White spiked MJF with a DDT. Jay White planted MJF with a Uranagi for a near fall. I hate to say it, but I don't think the presence of Adam Cole at ringside is distracting MJF. Oh, but I think the presence of MJF is distracting MJF. Said Excalibur. Sorry. MJF gouged at Jay's eye and then DDT'd him on the floor. MJF slammed Jay White onto the announcer's desk. MJF dropped an elbow from the top turnbuckle right onto Jay White on the arena floor. The fans chanted, "He's our scumbag. He's our scumbag." And I knew that this whole thing was going to happen. I knew that MJF was going to retain due to the fact that the next pay-per-view is in literally my backyard. I live, give or take with traffic, close to 30 minutes from Nassau Coliseum. It's legitimately, I'm sitting here in my kitchen. It's this way. It's legitimately this way. It's 30 minutes from here with traffic. You think fucking goddamn MJF is not going to fucking main event a fucking pay-per-view in his fucking goddamn home state on Long Island? I mean, come on. This was all fucking ridiculous. This match should have realistically been this next month. They should have had something in between it. This made absolutely no sense. This whole storyline doesn't make sense. And I'm kind of sort of glad that the devil didn't show his face. Because everybody thinks it's Adam Cole. Let's throw another freaking monkey wrench into the works. Let's not have it Adam Cole. Let's have it somebody else. Maybe because I think he put up. Oh no, that was with Eddie Kingston. Oh shit. Maybe somebody from actual Bullet Club. Like, how about who's over there running things? Dave Finlay comes over. To be his catalyst, you know? Anyway, back in the ring, Jay White employed a dragon screw lay whip on MJF. Jay White tied up MJF in the Tree of Woe. Jay White climbed up to the top, but MJ yanked White down to the mat. Jay White climbed back and nailed MJF with an avalanche Uranagi for a 2 count. MJF countered the Blade Runner with a spinning elbow. Jay White answered with 3 release German suplexes. MJF spiked White with a tombstone pile driver. MJF jumped over the top rope and caught Jay White with a cutter, planting him on the arena floor. We are witnessing MJF take risks like he never has in his entire career, said Excalibur. Back in the ring, Jay White went back to work on MJF's injured leg. Jay White spat at Adam Cole and then applied the figure 4 to MJF. Adam Cole had a towel and was contemplating throwing it into the ring to the end of the match. MJF reversed the figure 4. Jay White made a desperate dive and grabbed the bottom rope to force the break. Adam Cole had his Ring of Honor tag team title and was about to using it against Jay White, but Jay White grabbed it away and smacked MJF in the head with it. Jay White covered MJF, but MJF kicked at it too. Basically, he was there and he was like powerless. It was like, all right, take the title. Jay White was yanking on MJF's leg, but MJF shoved him away, with White colliding with the ref and knocking him down. Adam Cole slipped the dynamite ring into the ring, but before MJF could retrieve it, Jay White grabbed it. MJF hit White with a low blow before White could use the diamond ring. MJF slipped the dynamite ring on his hand. The guns ran down and MJF clocked them. Jay White was looking for the Blade Runner, but MJ cracked Jay with a dynamite diamond ring and pinned Switchblade, and MJF retained. So they are heading to Chicago. They are basically going to say, you know what, you're going to take over Chicago, WWE, but we just want to make sure that you're aware that we actually run Chicago. Lord have mercy, this is going to be a sticky situation, but that is that. I hope everybody had an amazing night last night. I honestly, I don't remember how I got to my fucking bed last night. I legitimately got up, didn't know anything that I was doing because I was half asleep. This is what happens when you don't sleep as much as I used to. I slept, let's just say I was rustling around and I was like, please don't get me up at 5:45. I can't do this today. So I will be back here this Wednesday evening, right after Dynamite. I will be doing the episode 316. I will be getting any news, anything that's coming out of WWE and AEW. Please also join me right after SmackDown on Friday for preview and predictions of Survivor Series War Games. And then for 317, it'll be back at 2 p.m. on Friday afternoon. Please do me a favor and go check me out on Instagram, Facebook, Threads. Also check me out on X, Twitter, TikTok. I'm also on Cameo. Go check me out all on there. Please, while you're here, like, share, subscribe, and turn on the bell for all notifications so when I go live or upload a video, you will know about it. Also, please go check out Maestro Classics at maestroclassics.com. Go check out Liquid Death at liquiddeath.com. Go check out Deathwish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com. And go check out December 1st, which is, I believe, not this week, but the following week, which is December 1st. Darkest Hour, HOG Wrestling. Matt Cardona versus Mike Zaitana for the Hog Heavyweight title. Gringo Loco will be in action. Nolo Katana versus Kevin Blackwood for the Cruiserweight Championship. Grizzled Young Veterans versus the main event for the tag titles. Prince Nana will be there with Swerve Strickland. Well, Strickland goes for fights Mike Bailey. Charles Mason versus Carlos Ramirez for the Crown Jewel Championship. Cash Flow versus Encore. Violet versus Kiki for the House of Glory Women's Championship. And they could be adding more as we speak, but that is it for the for everything. So please do me a favor while you're also here. Please check out the rest of my content, which I did Thursday. I went live at 2 p.m. for episode 315 because of the whole situation with full gear. So go check that out. Check out the rest of my content. There's loads of stuff on it. So go have at it. And please join me this Wednesday night, right after Dynamite, like around 10:30 for episode 316. Have a great Sunday. And it's holiday season time. And hopefully everybody is just pacing themselves for Thanksgiving. Have a great Sunday. I love you all, and I'll see you Wednesday evening. All right. I love you all. Bye.